After turning from Graboid to Shrieker to Ass Blaster, I think they knew that they pretty much milked every possible evolution out of a Graboid. So where can they go from here? Well, why not a prequel? And that's exactly what Tremors 4, The Legend Begins is. But you can't have a Tremors movie without Michael Gross. So instead of having Vert, we have Hiram, his ancestor. Opening up in 1889, we see a bunch of miners working in a bustling mine. I can't help but wonder if this is the same mine they showed during the Ghost Dance TV episode. As you would expect, everyone's working and making a lot of noise, which attracts baby graboids, and guys are picked off one by one. Word spreads, and soon everyone's leaving the town of Rejection. The only ones left at the end of the day are the Changs, who just opened their market, Christine Lord, the owner of a hotel, Tacopa, Old Fred, and Juan. Juan is one of the workers in the mine who survived the attack. He's working there to save up money to buy a ranch, so I'm guessing he's Miguel's ancestor. Anyway, they get word that the owner of the silver mine's coming into town, all the way from Philadelphia. Upset with the output of the mine recently, he's here to fix it himself. When he shows up, everyone's excited to meet him, thinking that he'll be some rich fat guy. And nope, it's good old Bert Gummer, Hiram Gummer.
I am he.
Everyone greets him, and at first, he's kind of a snobby jerk. Christine shows him to her hotel, and he notices all the firearms on the wall, which is payment from travelers who had nothing else to give. They're all pretty surprised to hear that Hiram doesn't carry a weapon. What? A Gummer that doesn't own a gun? The next morning, Hiram and Juan head to the mine to meet up with some of the other miners and prove to them all the place is safe. They go in and see the bloodshed, but after traveling all the way to the end and not getting attacked, I guess everyone's convinced to get back to work. But it's late now, and they have to set up camp. Hiram has a hammock.
It's better for the posture.
Which I thought would be important. He's sleeping off the ground, therefore the graboids don't eat him or something. But that doesn't happen. A real missed opportunity. Instead, the first attack happens off-screen, when some dude's playing the accordion. Then, one by one, everyone's taken out, until it's only Hiram and Juan, who do make it to the rock. Juan knows that these are the creatures that attacked in the mine. Yeah, no crap, good deduction skills. These are just baby graboids, however. Still, just as deadly as they're fast and they can jump out of the ground. The two make it to town by walking on solid rock, and they tell their story. At this point, they know they need help, so they send out a message for a hitman, someone who can shoot. While they wait, they all go back to work. The town does have a steam engine, which they're using to help dig the well, and Takapa is digging a hole for a flagpole. I mean, there probably wasn't that much to do in the Wild West back then. After a month, Christine talks to Hiram about paying his bill. And here's where we learn that he's broke. All of his money went into the silver mine, and with it shut down, he only has a single coin, cufflinks, and his pocket watch to his name. Well, as luck would have it, that night their hired help shows up. Black Hand Kelly. I have to admit, the scene was pretty scary and effective. More terrifying than the graboids themselves. Well, almost. He makes quite the entrance. They tell him he's going to be hunting dirt dragons, which is admittingly a better name than graboid. Kelly's going to need some payment before he takes the job, so he takes Hiram's last coin and cufflinks. In the morning, they go to Christine's for some weapons and head out, back to the mine. But when they get there, the place is quiet. They look around a little bit and do find eggs. Hiram figures out that the water used in the mine eroded away the dirt and must have reanimated the eggs somehow. So I guess that explains that. They also can see that there are 4 eggs total. Well, Juan killed one of them during their first fight, so 3 left. they continue on, finding some scaly-looking things that I guess is what the babies shed when they get older, so that's kind of neat. They find old Fred's wagon, and, well, he's dead. Sorry, Fred. That night, they make camp in an old barn, and while they sleep, a fully grown graboid pokes around and wakes them up. Kelly shoots at it, and it retreats, but the guys know this isn't what they fought earlier. This is something new. It's time Hiram learns to shoot, which doesn't go so well. Let's just say he's not a natural. While they do that, the graboid tries to burst through the floor, but it can't break the beams. So it starts to pull them away, one by one. It's getting smarter. The guys use a telegram to signal back to their friends that they need help, and Christine goes running. Back at the barn, the graboids had enough, and it attacks Juan, who only narrowly escapes. The others open fire, and it retreats, but not for long. The tongues continue to work on the floorboards all night until there isn't much left. And eventually, it gets Kelly. So their ringer's dead. Luckily, Christine comes in just in time to pick up the survivors. After a quick chase scene, they lose the monster and make it back to town, where Hiram feels they have no other choice. They're gonna have to start their lives over again. That's it. Game over. Might as well pack everything up and leave town. But the others can't go. Rejection is their home. They don't have anywhere else to go. Even so, Hiram nopes out of there, leaving everyone to fend for themselves. He goes to the nearest town to get a train ticket back to Philadelphia, and while there, they get a message. It's the people from Rejection talking about the graboids and how they need help. But the guy there just thinks it's a joke. Hiram knows better though, and he can't leave his new friends behind. So he sells the last thing he owns, his pocket watch, and heads into the gun store. Back in town, the locals are all packed up, with no other option but to leave. And that's when they see a dust cloud. Are they too late? Is the dirt dragon on its way? No, it's Hiram! And like a desert Santa Claus, he comes bearing gifts, saving the biggest gun for himself. As crazy as it looks, this is actually a real weapon, used to shoot entire flocks of ducks at once. Wow! They ring the dinner bell for the graboid and wait. Sure enough, it comes hungry. Hiram shoots and misses! But then it comes back and he prepares the gun as fast as he can. The others open fire, and finally Hiram blasts a hole in it, killing the monster. But there's two more, and another one coming. It bursts up from the ground, and actually takes the oversized weapon with them. Well, great. What are they going to do now? It chases Juan up a phone pole, and while it's distracted by that, Takapa thinks fast. Remember that hole he dug for a flagpole? He shoves a giant saw down there and pounds on it, getting the monster's attention. And it rams right into it, which is a pretty gnarly way to go, even for a graboid. There's only one left. How are they going to take this one out? First, they try to use gunpowder to make a bomb, but there just isn't enough time. So they fire up the old steam engine, grab onto the dirt dragon, and pull it in. It's coming in hot, and it crashes into the engine, destroying it and the monster. Later on, we hear that the bank approved a loan so Hiram can reopen the mine, and it looks like Christine and Hiram are gonna get together. I mean, they need to have kids after all, so Bert can be born. In the final scene, we see Hiram's gifted with a gun that looks like it's a lot of fun to shoot, and thus beginning a generational-long obsession with weapons. And that was Tremors 4, The Legend Begins. It's not bad, but it seems like they might have ran out of ideas on how to keep the graboids interesting. I know we saw the babies, which was kinda cool, but there's no shriekers or ass blasters here. Instead, this is the point where the series shifts from caring about the monsters to caring about Bert. Well, Here it's Hiram, but still, you know what I mean. No longer is the graboid the most interesting character, and that's okay. Michael Gross can certainly carry the film. It's a funny twist to see him almost afraid of guns in the beginning, and by the end he's loading up a cannon. There are some funny parts throughout that would break up an otherwise pretty bland movie. But if you haven't watched the other 3 first, then I don't think that you would continue on to the 5th one at this point. I like the Changs, especially their son, Fu Yang. For a child actor, I thought he did a good job. And Takapa was funny too, and a pretty quick thinker to take a graboid out with a saw. All in all, Tremors 4 isn't bad. I think at this point, when you have a 4th movie, just everyone assumes it's gonna suck. So when it's actually entertaining and not half bad, well, we were all pleasantly surprised. Watch Tremors 4 with the expectation that Bert is now the main character, and you'll enjoy it. I give it 2.5 giant cannon guns out of 4.
Fred was an old man. That is why we call him Old Fred. He had a bad breath, but I don't want to say that, right?